Okay, you clicked on the video because you wanted some help on which character to go for during patch 3.0. So let's just get right into that. We'll go through the most important notes on each of the characters so you are aware of them, and then I will provide my personal opinion on which character you should go for. Now guys, here's a quick word on today's sponsor, SuperaTom. If you're someone who's been spending your hard-earned money to pull for your favorite character, you'd know how expensive the top-up can get. But what if I were to tell you that from now on you can get at least a 20% off on all of your top-ups, walk-ins, and battle pass buy? How much would that help you to save? And that's what SuperaTom here will provide you. Whenever you order your Primogems buy through SuperaTom, you will have the chance to order at a discounted price. Now the reason why this is legit is because it is through discounted quota shop, or you can understand it as gift card discount. SuperaTom have already have many people following, plus have worked with larger creators like coaching mates. And of course, I wouldn't be telling you guys this if it wasn't legit. How you do it is basically join SuperaTom Discord server. There will be a link down in my description, and once you're there will be direct instruction on how you can order. So if you're going to be topping up anyways to pull for your character, why not have a smarter way of saving your money, right? As always, good luck on your character pulls guys, limited spending only if you do spend, and with that, let's just hop into today's video. We'll now look into the characters, and I will assume that you would actually already have the basic understanding of the rerun characters, and I will only cover the most important things about them that would usually affect your decision making. First, we have Tighnari. As of this point of releasing this video, Tighnari is not official release yet, but we have a bit of information on him, so we'll be basing our discussion on that. Now of course, some information may still be not official, therefore it is still subjected to change. But basically, from what we know, Tighnari is fairly a simple character to run. He'll be specialized in charge shots similar to Ganyu. His level 2 charge after hitting the opponent will create a 4 cluster bloom arrows hitting nearby opponents. His E skill creates a dendro field that taunts enemies in group. What's also good about his skills is that after using it, the next 3 charge shots of his will have its charge time reduced quite a lot, allowing him to increase a bit of his DPS that way. And his burst fires off 6 arrows that tracks and deals damage to the enemies, and upon hit it will create a second wave of damage instances. For his passive, it would give him a 50 EM after using his charge attack, and for every point of EM he has, his charge attack and his burst will get a 0.06% damage increase, and a maximum of 60% can be obtained, which is technically a 1000 EM build. So from the looks of it, I would say Tighnari gameplay is pretty much Ganyu's. He is the first dendro DPS we have in the game, and from the look of his attack scaling, I wouldn't say it's too bad, especially when dendro reactions are really good, because we usually have a lot of good electro and hydro support character. Therefore, DPS wise, I'd say he'll be a very solid character. The only question I have with Tighnari, and might turn out to be his worst downside, is his arrow targeting mechanic. Since they do home in on enemies, therefore if we were to look at solo battles, things would be really good, as all of that is targeted toward one. But in group situation, I'm not entirely sure how the homing will work. Is it going to be auto targeting everything on the field, or still focusing on one enemy? Because the thing with Tighnari's scaling of the cluster bloom arrow is that each hit has fairly low scaling. So in order to get big numbers, all 4 of the hits have to be on the target. If this were to be spread out onto many enemies on the field, the problem would be that it would take too long of a time to actually clear the whole group, making them all turning on to you and attack, because even if he does have his E skill to taunt enemies, it won't be able to draw in everyone on the field. So that's currently my only question. Otherwise, his solo damage wise, I'm sure it will be pretty good. Next is Zhongli. I don't even have to mention that Zhongli is still the best shield in the game, because I can't think of any way that but there would be another better shield than him at this point, unless they make it so that another character have the shield to block out even HP decreased enemy attacks. So I guess that the news of Zhongli being nerfed due to enemies ignoring shield didn't last very well, huh? Because those enemies can basically be counted on the numbers of one hand, and even if we do face them, Zhongli will still does his job really well, because he does not just provide you shield guys, but also a lot of resistance shreds onto your enemies, which is also some of the most rare skill in the game right now. Not to mention he always runs Tenacity of Millilith to provide you a decent amount of attack increase, so he's an all-around best support for you. Oh, and also did I forgot to mention that his burst deals a ridiculously number that can be spammable as it's only a 40 energy cost. Furthermore, it petrifies all enemies except large world bosses. So yeah, I can't think of anything that Zhongli isn't good at, except having him as a DPS is quite hard since he got low scaling on his autos, but then most people aren't running him as a DPS anyway, so you don't really have to worry too much about that. The only real issue with Zhongli I'd say is his burst animation is quite long, of up to 3 to 4 seconds, which can be kind of a hindrance when it comes to Abyss since you're running against time. Most players have trouble with the time there, so spamming Zhongli burst too many times does cost you quite a lot, so you will have to keep in mind about that. Next is Ganyu, our OG Cryo Queen. There are other great cryo DPS out there now as well, namely Ayaka, but Ganyu will always be the first as since the time of her release she has caused an uproar in how insane of a character she is. Until this point in time guys, she still does insane numbers. Her numbers are still scary at times. Ganyu is still capable of casually doing over 100k charge attack at C0, and since Ganyu has crit damage ascension, she basically already have an 88% crit damage at level 80. Her gameplay is very simple as you've known, and is only doing charge attack, using her E skill for particles and setting up her burst for damage over time, as well as a 20% cryo damage increase. Then you do charge attack the hell out of all of your enemies within her burst. See, nothing much, yet she clears out most of the enemies with just one burst rotation. Because on top of the crazy charge attack, her burst does really good damage over time as well. Not to mention the cryo application she has during her burst, and due to this, Ganyu doesn't just run as a DPS, but can also be a support character. Even with her DPS build, you can just take her and put her in a support role for other DPS to run on the field, since her burst is only 60 energy and it's going to be back up quite fast. Not to mention the fact that her weapons are mostly free to play friendly, you can just use the craftable weapons and her damage can still be very good. Most of the time she doesn't really have any downsides. The real main issue with Ganyu though is that she can easily be staggered. Anything that hits her directly basically make her lose focuses in her charge attack, which can be a huge DPS loss for you since every one of her charge attack deals a large number. So generally running Ganyu means you want a shield on your team, though Diona is usually be the one for her already, with pretty good shield plus healing and a lot of particle regen, so that is covered. And the second thing about her is that of her gameplay. Many would just find it to be boring after some time because of the charge attack mechanic, but then that's just player preferences, and if you love Ganyu, you just naturally love her playstyle as well. I personally have never gotten tired of seeing her bloom arrows all the time. Fourth, we have Kokomi, our ocean goddess that can literally walk on water. Kokomi isn't usually on the list of pooling character for many people, however things kind of changed a lot when enemies that ignore shield was introduced. Kokomi is just needed more and more, and things might be a lot more different when Dendro arrives, especially from the fact that Dendro reacts really well with Hydro. So the thing with Kokomi is that she would become a very good healer support character for the team, and personally I found that I have her in most of my team whenever Bennett is not available. She's just that good. Kokomi has one of the cheapest build in the game because you only need to slap HP and healing bonus stats on her and she will do just fine. She never crits due to an already minus 100% crit rate unless you force her build crit rate on her, and her BIS weapon is generally the Thrilling Tales of Dragon, and her best artifact sets for support is the Tenacity, all of which will help your team tremendously. Now Kokomi is an amazing healer in which you will almost never die having her on the team, but not only that, her Hydro application is very consistent, guarantee her spot on a number of teams, especially for perma freeze team, where I almost never run it without Kokomi. Generally, the main issue you have with Kokomi is that her jellyfish can't be repositioned, making it stuck in one place for the whole of its duration. And since enemy constantly moves around and even you, everyone will be out of range and nothing of Kokomi will be able to provide support. Also, her burst requires her to be on field, so if she is a support character only, you will almost have no value out of her burst apart from resetting the duration of her jellyfish. So those are some of the things that you want to consider when it comes to Kokomi. Now that should be most of the important things to remember on the characters. Before you can actually make the right decision to choose which character you should go for, it is important to assess your account to see what you need. First and foremost guys, remember that it's just a game, so really go for the character you would find yourself to enjoy over running along with the meta, because at the end of the day, what's the point of using the character you don't enjoy owning, right? So regardless of whatever anyone says, pull for the character you love. And then it comes to the meta and account optimization. Now when talking about this, it is important to see which is that your account is lacking in. Is it lacking in DPS or support? Because both Tighnari and Ganyu are on-field DPS character, while Zhongli and Kokomi are mostly support, though Ganyu can also be a support at times. So these are the things that only you can do in your account. Generally speaking, having good support character on your account will be better than having many DPS character, because you only have one DPS slot while the remaining 3 are for support characters. So supports are actually the core of the team, and usually DPS character can be your chosen choices. With that guys, here is going to be my personal opinion on which character you should go for. Now of course, since it is my personal advice, it is your choice to follow it or not, but what I'm giving here will also something that I myself will follow. So for the top pick, if you haven't got any character out of these 4, then Zhongli should be the #1 top choice. He's just too good of a character to not have on the account. Based on what we have discussed above, he will be able to get you through every content in the game, even more so once Dendro comes as well, because Dendro reaction are also applied onto us. For example, Bersian, the reaction between Hydro, Dendro and Pyro, this will actually deal damage onto us, so having Zhongli there will also protect us from unnecessary damage. Next is Tighnari. Now we know that he will be a character that comes to standard banner. However, that of itself can be a double-edged sword, especially for those who love Tighnari. You might be thinking that he should be lower on the priority list, but this might be the only time when he gets a dedicated banner. Standard character have never gotten a banner except for coaching, and the same maybe for Tighnari, he might never have a rerun banner. If you wait for standard pulls on Tighnari, you actually know how hard it can be to get him unless you are really lucky. And even more so if you're a free-to-play players, who knows how long it will take. As far as I know, many of the players till this point in time still haven't got all of the standard banner characters, so do consider hard if you're planning on skipping him. Furthermore, he is a Dendro DPS, and even if we're going to be getting more DPS in Dendro in the future, we don't know how long. On top of this, he will most likely be, if not the best DPS character on your account, simply from the fact that his C0 would be pretty good already, but you have the chance to get his constellation. And believe me, Tighnari constellation is really good, all of which focuses on taking his damage onto the next level, which is why he deserves his spot on the second of this list. On third priority, it would be Kokomi, main reason being Hyper Bloom from Dendro and Hydro is just really good, and the fact that Kokomi constantly generate Hydro on the field, making her usage in the team is better for sure. Plus, from everything we've discussed, she's really good of a support character, and you will not regret having Kokomi on your account, especially when you feel you are in need of a healer. And then finally, it's going to be Ganyu. She still would be able to deal insane damage level, however she's not a priority because Dendro doesn't react with cryo, so there would be a meta shift for sure when it comes to dealing with Dendro enemies. Either way, it is only a priority list, but having Ganyu on your team is going to be very good since we know how well she does as a character. Now whether or not you pull for these characters, we all know that Primogems is just a very important source in the game, which is why in collaboration with SuperaTom we're doing a 6,480 Primogem pack giveaway once Tighnari banner drops. So if you want to have the chance to successfully pull for the character you want during patch 3.0, be sure to subscribe to my channel and join my Discord server where I will be holding the giveaway once Tighnari banner comes. Link to the Discord server down in the description, guys. I hope that the videos have helped you make a better decision when it comes to which character to pull. If you have any question, do leave it down in the comment section, guys. And with that, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on the next video.